What's up, traders? It is Vlad, and today I got something really special for you. I created a course in the past called the Stock Predator course, and today I'm going to show you the first module. Now, this module is going to be really powerful for you because it's going to give you the insight of why people fail consistently in the market without even knowing it. It's happening subconsciously, but you need to kind of understand these things consciously to be able to not do them. And you're going to also understand what you need to build a strong foundation as a trader. It's 4 key components that you really need to do it, and I'm going to review each one of them. But I know you want to get right to the bolts of this whole situation, so let's get right into the training. Enjoy. Hey everybody, thank you for joining Trader Foundation, the Trading Predator course. Now this is going to be our module 1, where we discuss some major foundational aspects, some of the things that you really got to be careful. Some things that the 90% of people who don't make money on the market fail at. After this module, you'll be able to understand why they fail. What did they do wrong? And why do the 10% take their money? 90% fall prey to the market. Become the 10% predator. We want to take the 10% that's out there and increase it. We want to make you go from a prey who's a victim of what's going on out there to the 10% predator that's going to make the money that you rightfully deserve. At the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. Now it's time to find out what the 10% have known all along. Lesson 1, the failure trap. First, let's start with the basics. Trading is exactly that. Trading. The game is simple. In order for someone to make money, someone has to lose money. It's a simple idea, and the majority that decide to invest in the market believe that it's a nice way to make some money. They think it's a friendly game out there, and there's plenty for everyone to make. They heard that the stories of people losing money, but the belief is always that it would never happen to them. They're better than that. They have a good intuition and feeling when it comes to companies, and they feel like they know which ones go up. Besides, they have all the tools they need to make money. There's the news, they're always there to help. Social media, it's right on your phone. So much information on social media, so many people you can talk to. The information's infinite. And if you don't have enough of that, go on YouTube, video galore. They're free out there. That's unbelievable how the 10% doesn't go up when YouTube's out there. You got ebooks, people giving away for free. Try it out. It's just free knowledge. And of course, every ad on Facebook gives you that $1 million strategy you want to try, that 3-step process to making millions. And they're amazing, amazing tools. But I got one question for you. Why are there more people losing money than ever before? We have all the tools. We have 90% more resources today, but yet 90% of people lose money. Yet the same 10% consistently produce 90% of the results. What do they know? What are they doing different? What are they doing different? There's got to be something to this. It makes no sense. Or does it? Are you ready for your first reality fact? Here's the deal, guys. The 10% don't rely on any of this to make decisions. In fact, if you really think about it, all those tools out there, all the things that you could look at, but for some reason, that 10% number does not go up. Let's investigate each one of these to see what the deal is. Let's take the news, for example. The news has been around for ages, and we rely on them to give us the facts. That's what the news is, right? Pure facts. They even have multi-billion-dollar hedge gurus with their own shows to tell you what to buy or sell. You guys know good old Jim Cramer, booyah. That guy gives us facts, right? I mean, who would doubt that? Just listen to him and you'll be fine. I mean, come on, this sounds amazing. Almost too good to be true. Well, as the saying goes, guys, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So the news creates two huge problems. Problem number one, 90% don't realize that once the news is released, it's too late to get into the investment. Guys, think about it. If there was news that was released and everyone jumped on it, wouldn't 90% of investors be rich? It makes sense, right? Because the news is different from what people think. People believe the news to be fact, gospel. The reality is, the news is subjective. Everyone can interpret it differently. Trading based on news is simply gambling. It's been that fact for years, and people know it. The big head honchos know about it. And it's crazy because that leads to problem number two. The gurus who tell you to buy or sell are involved in what is called market manipulation. Market manipulation is a serious, serious thing. Remember, for you to buy anything would require to have someone who is willing to sell it. Some people don't realize when you're buying, there's not this magical tree that gives you all this money to invest. Just because you have a company, somebody has to be able to share or sell the shares of the company to you. The same goes for a seller. They can only sell if there's a buyer. It's a two-way street. You have to have that relationship. So if there's nobody to buy, guess what? You get the idea. So what happens if you have millions and billions of shares you want to sell, but you don't have enough buyers? Think about that. There's millionaires and billionaires out there who need to sell their shares right now or who need to buy some shares right now. But there's got to be enough inventory that people are either selling or buying on the other side. It's a big problem the rich hedge fund guys have all the time. So to solve that problem, they manipulate the 90% of the masses by telling them to invest in a certain company. Once that 90% invests, because they believe that guy, he's the guy on TV, then those same people simply take advantage of all these buys and simply sell their shares to these other people. So they take the money you put into these stocks and they're able to sell it to you. And that's how they fill their positions. In the long term, these rich millionaires get richer. In fact, if you go online, go check out a video called Kramer Manipulation, where the guy who we just saw, who is the man, admits that he does this. And he says it in the video where I would never say this on TV because he never thought it would make it to YouTube. So here's my question. These people get richer. But what about the 90%? The ones that actually said, hey, we believed everything you said. We invested into this company. It went down. What happened? Well, they end up losing. They become another victim of the 90% who lose to the rich. Another big piece is social media. Social media has been around for a long time. Seems like a decade of just multiple amounts of information. Now, we just talked about those hedge funds guys, the news, manipulation. This day and age, a lot of people may not watch the news, but they go online and they go to social media and they're on their phone on a consistent basis. Now, don't get me wrong. Overall, social media has great intentions and some great people who try to help. Of course, there are also the ones that try to make a quick buck as well. You're going to always see that people are trying to come up with weird systems or quick schemes to kind of take your money. But there's definitely some good to social media as well. Again, this causes two major problems. There's so much information that's out there that it's overwhelming. Some parts might be good bits of knowledge, but how do you put it all together? How do you filter out the good And how do you put it all into a working plan? It's quite simple. You can't. There's a lot of information, some good, some bad, but putting it all together is quite impossible because there's so many different philosophies. So the results are crazy. This results in a lot of frustration and anxiety, which then results in reckless investments and losses. There's a good saying out there when it comes to social media. The people are getting something called FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. Fear of missing out means you've seen people talk about stocks and you feel like you have to get involved. So you get reckless and you make these crazy trades and you lose. And you lose and you realize, you know what, maybe I'm not made for this because everybody else is making money. No, you fell for the FOMO. And it's a very easy thing to go for because there's so much information out there and it's still new to us because it's only been a decade. So we don't know how to react. And it happens all the time. This leads to another problem. There are a lot of claims of quick strategies you can learn so you can invest. This day and age, we're very fast paced. Everybody wants that quick thing. Wow, 2 strategies. I could just learn these 2 steps. I could just take this guy and follow his stocks that he's in, and I could just copy trade everything. If it was that easy, everybody would be rich and something would be wrong. It doesn't work that way. Maybe there are some magical little strategies that can produce all this profit. But if they're out there, why are there still more people failing than ever before? There is no magic pill for market success. The reality is there are people who make a lot of money who put in the work, who build a foundation. Even if the strategies that others market are somewhat effective, you still need a strong foundation to build off in order to use them. But people fail to execute on them properly and think they are not cut out for it. It kills their confidence because they see failure. But the reality is, they were not ready for it. They tried to do the right thing, but at the absolute wrong time. And when you try to do that, that will give you the most painful experiences of your life. Are you ready for your second reality fact? The 10% know that education and mentorship is the key to long-lasting success. Let's really break this down. Let's look at a house. The house is made up of a few pieces. You have the foundation, the knowledge and trading plan that's built in the initial stage of you entering the market. It's what you know in the beginning. It's what your core was built out of when you first started. And then you have additional content. So additional information that comes along the way that you can either add to your foundation or simply move on. News, ebooks, right? Social media strategies, all these are great. And the reality is, when you have a great foundation, strong foundation built on core concepts that work for years, there's nothing wrong with adding something to your foundation. But what happens if you don't have a foundation? What if you just collected a lot of additional content but never had a foundation? Unfortunately, not having a foundation leads to one thing. It leads to frustration, failure, and loss. The story of the 90%. So the big thing to get out of this is you could end up losing it all because of that. Because you fell for the little shiny new objects and did not having the foundation. It's easy to ignore, not because you're lazy, because you didn't know. The key is to focus on the foundation. So the first lesson we're going to go in this module is to give you the 4 pillars to a strong foundation. Pillar number 1, the psychological aspect of trading. Many lose money because they don't know how to handle the mental part of trading. Then there's the technical aspect of trading. This is where you learn not to gamble and make logical decisions based on the movement of the market. We all still believe that the news is giving us something, that there's a feeling. You hear it all the time. I feel Tesla's going to do good. The more subjective you are, the more of a gamble you put in. And that's how you end up losing. The technicals are going to help you. It's going to give you black and white patterns that are going to build off the psychological part of the game. Going beyond the stocks. People are into investing in companies, and they think that is investing. A lot of people talk about Forex because they want to invest in currency. They have no idea what it's about. But we don't have to go that way. We don't have to invest all this money into these big companies. Utilizing stocks won't make a lot of money unless you're starting with a six-figure income. But we don't need to trade stocks to get there. And we'll give you what it is exactly you need to do that. Finally, the biggest step of them all, creating a trading plan. That's right. If you want to be a winner, you do what winners do, and they create a trading plan that they follow consistently. Consistency is the key to success in the market. Creating a trading plan is what gets you there. We will be focusing on all four of these in this training. But before we begin, there are some essential rules you must follow for this program to work. Rule number 1, stay open-minded. Many people go into these trainings saying that I kind of know some things. I already know this. I've read it before. I heard it before. This is easy. This is where the 90% fail. If you're going to be a student, be all in. Forget everything that you've learned up to this point just for this training. Open up your mind. You're doing this for a reason, and I'm very, very proud of you for taking this step. I truly am. The fact that you're still listening to this and you're ready to make a difference in your life says a lot about you. Condition yourself to focus, because that's going to change the game for you. Rule number 2, take notes. When you take notes, you're actually getting more information comprehended in your brain. Almost 30% more. It's been proven that it works. When you go to seminars, they make you take notes for that reason, not because to remember everything, but it's going to help you comprehend. So the cool thing about this is it's a video. You could press the pause button if you need to. The goal here is not to watch a video. The goal is get your mind, new knowledge, build that up as much as you can so you could go out there and make consistent gains. And rule number 3, commit to taking action. You don't want to be the one that's most educated that never did anything with it. People go through trainings, people go through seminars, pay thousands of dollars, and they say how great it is, but they never actually did anything with it. So build momentum. Every day you do something towards that goal. If you learn something today, go and try some things. Action is going to be what separates you from killing it to having another training that was a waste of time. And if you could follow those 3 rules, guys, let's do this.